Topping today's news, the Prime Minister lays out the budgetary plans for the next fiscal year. The official opposition reacts negatively to the budget communication, and jitney drivers say 25 cents increase is just not enough. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jareno Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. An exuberant Prime Minister Philip Davis delivered the budget communication this morning in the House of Assembly, stating that the 2024-2025 fiscal budget will show just how far the Bahamas has come in under 3 years under the PLP administration, putting the country's fiscal house in order, even surpassing international projections. As for the country's #1 economic indicator, the debt-to-GDP ratio, Prime Minister Davis revealed the following achievement.
When we came into office, the fiscal situation was bleak, with a deficit that was 13.1% of GDP. By the end of the last fiscal year, that deficit had been significantly reduced to 3.8% of GDP. And during this budget communication, I will announce a further reduction. But I don't want to wait to share the bottom line. What is the bottom line? In under 3 years, we have knocked $1 billion off our deficit.
Prime Minister Davis also wanted to make it clear that his administration achieved the debt reduction without implementing new taxes while putting Bahamian people first.
And what's important is that we pulled the country back from the brink of exercising fiscal discipline while still putting our compassion for the Bahamian people at the heart of our policies. We could not do otherwise. When we came into office, Bahamians were suffering terribly. Far too many were out of work and in despair. The unemployment rate at that time was 17.6%. We moved fast. We opened up the economy. We partnered with the private sector. We encouraged innovation and new investment in tourism and other sectors. And we worked hard to promote our little special country.
Prime Minister Davis boasted that the unemployment rate is currently at the lowest point that it has been since 2008, now at 8.8%. He says the government will continue to engage in initiatives that increase the local skills level and that provide job, career, and business opportunities for Bahamians and residents. A strong public sector is essential for a nation's progress, this according to Prime Minister Philip Davis, who was making the 2024-2025 budget communication in the House of Assembly this morning. As a result of this fact, public servants nationwide should be thrilled with this following announcement made by Prime Minister Davis.
We believe salaries are too low and that fair compensation is crucial for attracting and retaining the best employees. Therefore, funds have been designated in this budget to conduct and implement a salary review with the aim of increasing the compensation for the entire public service, including accountants, nurses, teachers, defense force officers, police officers, immigration officers, corrections and custom officers, all of whom should be adequately compensated for their hard work and dedication.
The Prime Minister also announced plans for senior and mid-level public servants to improve your qualifications.
In addition, funding has been allocated for the continuation of training of mid-level and senior public officers through the University of the Bahamas, and for the full implementation of the Public Service Scholars Program. Funding has been allocated for a project aimed at enhancing the skill set of individuals within the public service workforce.
In July last year, the government rolled out the first public servants promotion exercise for the first time in nearly a decade, providing an additional $18 million for public servants. Prime Minister also reminded of his administration's success in negotiating close to 30 new industrial agreements, including with the Bahamas Public Service Union. The opposition F&M immediately voiced their concerns with the budget presentation by Prime Minister Davis, with party leader Michael Pintard calling the budget communication a tremendous disappointment.
One, they have admitted they will not reach their deficit target. Two, they have admitted that they have abandoned this whole idea. You would recall the Prime Minister boasting that they are going to have a surplus in this upcoming cycle. Well, they have obviously abandoned that particular boast. And the question is why, and I believe that they are duty-bound to explain to the public. And over the first 9 month period of this budget, it is clear that the revenue is actually behind at 67%, their own admission, when at this stage they should be at 75% of the budget revenue. Similarly, at the 9 month mark, the VAT receipts are behind.
Mr. Pintard says the government is cash-strapped and raised a number of questions in regard to the country's fiscal position.
We believe that this administration is continuing to destroy its credibility, and because of the lack of candor on the state of the nation's finances, it is clear that we are having a cash crunch with this administration, notwithstanding their boast about revenue, notwithstanding their boast about how well their revenue enhancement agency is performing. They would have to explain why we are not feeling home contractors in Grand Bahama and New Providence. Why are many public servants not getting their deductions from their salary paid to their insurance institutions that they are obligated to pay to?
Mr. Pintard says one of the greatest concerns is that the deficit at $214 million over the past 9 months is beyond the $132 million that the Davis administration projected. Mr. Pintard says the government must explain why they still struggle to meet their obligations to Bahamians and reduce the cost of living despite boasting about significant increases in revenue. Mr. Pintard says the government lacks a comprehensive plan to address a number of issues, namely the reliability and control of assets at Bahamas Power and Light and challenges in Grand Bahama as well. The opposition is also criticizing the government's decision to purchase the abandoned International Bazaar and reopening the Sunrise Highway in Grand Bahama for some $30 million. BTC's groundbreaking scholarship initiative, launched in 2023, continues this year as a driving force for educational opportunities. In its commitment to supporting Bahamian students, BTC has awarded valedictorians from 6 schools with 4-year scholarships to tertiary institutions in the United States, Canada, and right here in the Bahamas. We'll hear more in this next report by Chloe DeBoe.
The Bahamas telecommunications company BTC has awarded $120,000 in scholarships to 6 first-year college students, covering their tuition, housing, and other education expenses. Scholarship recipients Carlia Culmer, Kareem Curtis, Corrine Simeon, Deandra Paul, Reynard Floridor, and Moniqua Marshall make up BTC's second cohort of awardees. Director of People at BTC, Darren Turnquest, explains the significance of providing more opportunities to a diverse group of Bahamian students.
So what we've done over the last 2 years is we've identified 6 schools, and we rotate these schools throughout the year. Of course, 2 of the schools have to be government schools as well as Family Island schools. And so this being our second year, we now have 12 schools that have been represented by this program. And of course, we also have the opportunity to provide internships for each one of the graduates or the scholarship recipients. So they will receive an internship for the period of 4 years, working right here along with us in BTC and being a part of the BTC family.
Scholarship recipient Moniqua Marshall, a biological sciences major at Virginia State University, thanked BTC on behalf of her cohort and says she is now one step closer to her dream of becoming a radiation oncologist.
I can assure you that our dreams have not been suppressed and our drive for success has not ceased. We will forever be dedicated, hardworking, and focused on our goals. But according to a famous quote by Michael Schur, a support system is essential to success on earth. That being said, we, the recipients, would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Board of BTC, executive management, and the entire BTC family for your support in our journey toward excellence and your investment in our future.
Education Minister Gladys Hannah Martin had this powerful message for BTC's newest scholarship awardees.
Always have a heart of gratitude because the village helped you. Know your responsibility to the village. You might want to stay somewhere for a while, but you got to come back home. Amen. You have to come back home. You are reared here, raised here, educated here, and you have been given wings from here. Don't forget from whence you have come.
These 6 scholarship recipients will each receive $20,000 over the next 4 years and will be required to maintain a 3-point GPA throughout their studies. BTC is also continuing its support of the nation's youth programs, this year awarding the Gentlemen's Club and the Bahamas Primary School Student of the Year program with $2,000 donations. For Jcn News, I'm Chloe DeVoe.
Thanks so much for that report, Chloe. Finally, in this segment, following recent breakthroughs in police investigations into missing 16-year-old Devin Isaacs, who has been missing since May 15th, education officials plan to ramp up their investigations into reports made on the ministry's school truancy hotline. Education Minister Gladys Hannah Martin says the ministry is responding to the number of missing children and teens by attempting to monitor disappearances through school truancy.
This is why we put in place the hotline, because it incites the participation of the community. If you see something that suggests that children who should be in school are not in school, call the hotline. And what we're doing now, we're going to this in the next few days, begin a more aggressive approach to responding to these hotline communiques, and to also putting out PSAs to cause for the public to know about the hotline and to engage in where necessary.
Minister Hannah Martin says the ministry is doing what it can, but it is the entire country's responsibility to keep children safe.
The issue of child protection, child attendance in school, child well-being is first of all multi-agency. Ministry of Education deals with school attendance, but it's multi-agency and it's also multi-stakeholder. It involves parents, the community, the church, everyone. We all have to come together to ensure our children are protected. Any nation that watches as children fall by the wayside is a nation that is not upholding its obligations to children.
According to Minister Hannah Martin, guidance counselors are offering students social and psychological support, especially in cases of exploitation. But she says it is up to parents to open the line of communication with your children. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.